Hello.
Howdy. How'd it go?
Very well. I was delighted and just pleased with the opportunity to communicate to the people of Iowa. And this was the third debate of the primary. I'm looking forward to the general election debates.
There was an awful lot that you shook your head at today. Who are we supposed to believe?
Well, first of all, I'm going to focus on the future and let the voters make that decision. But, you know, Chet Culver has run the state into the ditch. We have the worst budget mess in history. We have the highest unemployment in 24 years. And I think they clearly know that I'm the strongest candidate. Iowans want an honest, conservative leader that will make the tough decisions, restore fiscal responsibility, reduce the size and cost of government by at least 15%, put the focus back on good jobs, and bringing more jobs to Iowa. I'm hands-on involved in that. I know it can be done. I know we're going to have to make Iowa more competitive by reducing the tax burden on business. And I also know that we've got to again set high expectations, have state standards, effective assessments, and make our education system best in America again.
Rod Roberts says he's concerned about a division in the party beyond the primary.
I'm not at all concerned. I think there's a great opportunity. I've been all over the state. And you know what's happening right now that's really exciting me? So far in this election, as of yesterday, 14,300 Republicans had asked for absentee ballots and only 4,700 Democrats. You know what's been happening in recent elections? The Democrats have been killing us with absentee ballots. We see energized Republicans. We see people that are upset at Washington. And what does Culver do to announce his candidacy? Brings in the Vice President of the United States, the administration that's just racked up the biggest federal debt in history, increased the federal debt by $1.4 trillion, increased the size and cost of government. People are voting against Washington. They don't want Des Moines to follow Washington's bad example of borrowing and spending us into oblivion. They want an honest conservative that'll make the tough decisions. I led Iowa back from the farm crisis. We made a lot of tough decisions. We did get spending off autopilot. I enforced the 99% spending limitations. They have violated it 133 times in the last 4 years. That is unquestionably the kind of thing that has to change.
When you say you're looking forward to the general election debate, do you think this primary is over?
Well, no, it's not over until the people vote. So we're going to work very hard between now and Election Day. We're already encouraging people to vote absentee ballot, and we're excited about the amount of people that are voting in the Republican primary absentee ballot. That's very encouraging. A big turnout is very good for us. It's very good for Iowa, very good for the future of this state. But then we've got to go on and win the general election too. But first we've got to win that primary on June 8th, and that's our focus. And yet we don't take anything for granted. But we also know that the reason why the Democrats are attacking me, and you know they've formed this phony 527. It's chaired by a guy named Rob Tully, past chair of the Democratic Party, and they're the ones running all the attack ads. They're the ones that are sending all this misleading information out to Republican primary voters. Can you imagine that? Liberal Democrats, they think that Republican primary voters aren't smart enough to see through this subterfuge. They are underestimating the intelligence of Iowa voters, and I think that primary voters will prove it on the 8th of June.
Will this give and take that Representative Roberts referred to as bickering hurt you at all down the road?
I don't think so. I have a positive focus on the future. I've set out ambitious goals. I just received the endorsement of Iowans for Tax Relief, received the endorsement of our CPA State Auditor, David Vaught. We had a Vision Iowa 2020 conference last weekend. We had the National Teacher of the Year. We had business leaders and community leaders from all over the state coming together because I recognize to be an effective governor, to be a good leader, you don't come up with all the ideas. You assemble talented people and get their ideas, and you do it as a team, and you surround yourself with capable, talented people. That's the other thing about Culver. Look at the revolving door. Look at all the people that have left his administration and his campaign. He has not chosen good people. They have not managed things well, and you have one investigation after another. People want to restore honest, clean, responsible government.
What was the strategy behind your question to Representative Roberts? What kind of a response were you hoping to?
Well, I think he answered it beautifully. I wanted an honest answer as to who he thought was the most effective leader he's worked with and who he thought was the least effective. And I agree with him. What the Speaker did, excluding the public from a public hearing on retaining federal deductibility, is just unconscionable. The other thing that I thought was just unconscionable was keeping the voting machine open all weekend to try to twist arms and force people to vote for a prevailing wage. When I vetoed that in 1984, listen, in 1984, that's a while ago, 9 states have repealed it. No state has passed it since that time, and yet the governor and the Democratic leaders would try to force this on the people of Iowa. Now, let's credit the 6 Democrats, but let's credit the 44 Republicans that hung together and stopped that bad thing from happening.
When it comes to judicial appointments, under Iowa system, you're given 3 names. Is it
That's
pretty
the Supreme
difficult?
Court.
Right.
Yeah, you only have to, and you have only a choice to choose from those 3.
Is it difficult then to pinpoint or nail them
Well,
down?
sure it is, absolutely. And that's why it's just not so simple, and I think my answer reflected that you can't just handpick who you want. This is not the national level where the president can go out and choose somebody he wants. He can even choose somebody that has no judicial experience. The governor can't do that. You have a judicial nominating commission that gives you 3 to choose from. You need to try to choose the one you think is the best of those 3. And you need to personally interview them. You need to find out as much as you can about their experience and philosophy. And yet, that's not an assurance that when they get on the court, that you're going to agree with every decision that they make. As a lawyer, many a time, I had surprises happen in the court. And anybody that's ever been in the court system know that to try to predict every time exactly how a judge is going to rule is nigh on to impossible.
Mr. Vanderplat said that he's getting ready to run TV ads. Are you expecting those to be attacks on you?
I don't know, and I really don't care. I'm focusing on the future. I'm focusing on my goals for the state of Iowa, and we're going to, I think the big problem we've got is Chet Culver and the way he's mismanaged the state. Thousands of Iowans came to me and said, we need your experience and leadership. And I'll accept whatever attacks come from whomever, including I think the very misleading and unfair attacks being leveled by the money with the group with the money is the 527 headed up by the former Democratic chairman. But yet they have underestimated the intelligence of Iowa voters, and I don't think they're going to get by with this. We feel confident we're going to do well in this primary, but it's Chet Culver's worst nightmare to have to run against me and my experience and my record. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Thank you.